Hey everybody, this is Brian Parker with Head to Head. Catch us on a live show every Thursday, 7 p.m. live on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, as well as Instagram. So listen, I'm jumping on here. I know I'm not all put together and everything, um, but I wanted to just give some thoughts about the election yesterday because man, it feels like there's been a funeral for a lot of people. Now, some people may totally agree with um, the outcome of the election. I am not one of those. I think if you watched our show enough, you would know that that would not be the case. And it's really, y'all, simply because what are we doing? You know, when we raise our kids, we tell them that there's so many different virtues and character things that we would love to see in them. And yet, when we now elect people to the highest office of the land, we look the other way and we use whatever reason to justify all of the bullshit that we tell our kids. We tell our kids, go to school, get good grades, be of high character and moral standing. We tell our kids that, you know, if you work hard, you have a shot to succeed, that you can be anything you want to be as long as you put your mind to it. And then we vote the way that we voted. Makes no sense to me at all. It makes no sense to me how people will vote against their self-interest because of loyalty to a party. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Democrats royally messed this up because they focused on things that people obviously didn't care about. Things that they should have known about well before the elections come. And this is the problem I have with both parties all the time is that they normally wait until it's election season to then start acting like they give two shits about how we feel and what we think and care about what we think. That is a problem. But what I will say is if you feel like the Democratic Party, if you are listening right now and you feel like the Democratic Party has taken your vote for granted, if you feel like there's always promises from the Democratic Party and they don't ever fulfill those promises. Excuse me, I always itch when I go live. My question to you is, what the hell has the other side shown you to make you feel like they can do a better job for you? It's one thing to say, y'all aren't living up to what you said you were going to do. And there could be several reasons as to why they haven't. Some things they didn't fight enough for. Some things you have to understand how government works. Just because Joe Biden is the president doesn't mean that he can do whatever the hell he wants. I know Donald Trump makes you feel like he can just do whatever he wants. But guys, I'm going to say this like I've said before. There are three co-equal branches of government. There's the executive, there's the legislative, and there's the judicial. Those are all called checks and balances. What that means is that you cannot have a rogue president, no matter what Donald Trump tells you, sitting at the White House just making a bunch of decisions that do not have to be approved. Okay? A lot of times a president is like a quarterback of a football team. They get a lot of the credit and they get way more blame. Sometimes they get way more credit than they deserve. I'm sorry, I always itch when I go live. And it makes no sense. Perfect example, gas prices. When gas prices were going up, all I saw at the gas stations were stickers that said of Joe Biden that said, I did that. Now, the problem with that is whoever made those stickers had no fundamental understanding that presidents don't drive gas prices. It has nothing to do with how many gas pumps, how many drilling sites and things like that there are, has very little to do with that. Has more to do with the open market. People not fundamentally understanding that just because Exxon or BP or whomever drills here in the United States, we don't nationalize our oil. Just because it came here doesn't mean that it cannot be sold on the free market to other countries around the world. And that's what happens. The globalization of our oil and oil around the world drives the prices as well as OPEC. It's always been that way, y'all. This is not a new phenomenon. Gas prices go up during the summer. They come back down during the fall and winter. Every single year since I've been alive and well before that. That is nothing new. However, people associate gas prices with who's the president. People associated inflation with who's the president. And some of that did have to do with the president. But the problem is that they're looking at it totally wrong. By the time Donald Trump left office, inflation was on its way up because supply chains were being choked because of COVID, y'all. Why were gas prices low when Donald Trump was president? Because during COVID, nobody was out traveling, driving, flying planes, doing things like that. This is obvious, y'all. But you fall for the okie doke every goddamn time. Donald Trump's gas prices were low, not because of any policies that Donald Trump enacted, not because of any opening up of more drilling or anything like that. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there was fucking COVID, y'all. When there's demand, there's a need for supply. When there's not enough demand and there's a lot of supply, the prices stay down. Now I'm gonna need to understand that most people that are watching this video had some basic concept of how supply and demand works. Econ 101. There's not a lot of demand and there's a whole lot of supply, the prices go down. Very little supply, a lot of demand, prices go up. It ain't that complicated. None of what I just said has to do with who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. None of that. Another thing, inflation. Again, supply chain starved out because of COVID drives up inflation. Everything costs more. What have we seen over the last 3.5 years? Inflation go back down. What have we seen the Fed do? Cut interest rates. All of those things are signs that the economy is starting to improve. We've had job growth for months upon months upon months. Unemployment, very low rates. Wages are going up. Are they going up as much as we want and we need? No. Are they going up? Yes. So what's going to happen is Donald Trump is going to inherit a better economy than the one he left. And he's going to get the credit for it unfairly. Just like he got credit for it the first time when Obama left him a good economy. Y'all don't ever seem to notice that a Republican will sit there and come in after a Republican, after a Democrat cleaned up the mess. Clinton did it. Obama did it. Biden did it. That's what happens, y'all. It gets cleaned up. This isn't rocket science. So Trump's going to come in, tout now all of a sudden, before we're in a nation in decline and yada, yada, yada. Now all of a sudden, 2 days of him being in there, he's going to claim that now everything's good again. As if that's how things work. And a lot of y'all believe that shit. When a president makes a decision, many times that would affect the economy, a lot of times you don't see the results for months because it has to work itself through. He can't just snap his finger and say, oh, the economy's going to be good today, and it's good today. It doesn't work like that. Those things have to filter through. That's high level stuff. But honestly, y'all, normally when Republicans win the presidency, they do simply because of the electoral. But this time, Donald Trump not only won the electoral college, he won the popular vote. Now, what I always hung my hat on when Democrats would either win or lose an election is they would win both. And most of the time, when they won the popular vote, they would win it by an overwhelming number. And that didn't happen this time. And my concern with that is multi layered. Do I feel like this country just simply isn't ready or wanting to take the step to put a woman into the White House? Absolutely. I think a lot of it had to do with that. People say, Brian, people keep bringing up the whole misogyny and this and that. Some of it is misogyny. Some of it is that there's people based on their religion that don't believe that women should be in high levels positions of authority. Okay. There's people out there that just believe that a woman's place is not to be at the head, and they look at the presidency as a head. Now, if it was reversed and Tim Walz was running for president, Kamala Harris was running for vice president, I believe in every fiber of my being that Tim Walz will be the president today, or president-elect. But for a woman to aspire to hold the highest office in the land may be a bit too much. Can she be a senator? Can she be a congresswoman? Can she be a judge? Yes. But president? Well, no. And how do I know that? Because instead of taking a woman that has been a vice president for the last 4 years, a woman that has been in public service for many, many years, whether it was as vice president, U.S. senator, whether it's been the district attorney of California or the attorney general, has been in public service for a long time. We decided that we would rather take a twice impeached, convicted felon, the instigator of the last insurrection, and put them in power. We took somebody that has bankrupted 6 times and called himself a businessman. We've taken somebody that has on tape admitted to sexually assaulting women. And a lot of y'all have daughters out there. We've taken somebody that will call countries shithole countries. We've taken somebody that will sit there and call people that doesn't agree with him enemies. We've seen somebody tell women in Congress to go back to where they came from, as if they're not Americans. We've heard the conspiracy theories. We've heard the shithole countries. We've heard Haitians eating dogs and cats. We've heard all of these tropes. We've heard things that he said about Jews. We've heard the things that he said about NATO. We've heard the things that he said about Ukraine. We've heard the things that he said about Puerto Rico. And look the other way. Because the one thing that he isn't is a woman. Tell me what else he brought to the table other than not being a woman. Let me ask you, did he mention tax cuts for middle class? No. Bringing down cost of homes by having an aggressive agenda to build more homes that aren't going to be scooped up by corporations? No. How about groceries? No. How is he going to bring gas prices down? Why doesn't he want to invest in renewable energies and electric vehicles? That would help with the cost of gas. What specific policies, other than making you fearful of immigrants taking your jobs did he bring up? When immigrants come over here, are they really taking your jobs? Or are they taking jobs that most people don't want to do? Is it the fact that they're coming to take your jobs, or are you just not comfortable with people who aren't white? America's going to have to really reconcile a lot of things. America has tried to move on and act like things in the past are in the past. But the one thing I know about the past is it don't always repeat, but it damn sure rhymes. A lot of the things that people try to act like are far gone, don't exist anymore. We elected a black president, so all of a sudden racism is gone. I got a word for you. Bullshit. People voted against their own self-interest because there is no policies that Donald Trump mentioned in any of those ranting, incoherent rallies that would make you say, yeah, he's for me. He's got my interest in mind. Now, this doesn't let Democrats off the hook. Could they have done more? Absolutely. We all can. But when you look at the alternative, tell me how putting your livelihood, your financial success, your security, your health care, your reproductive rights, your voting rights into his hands is benefiting you. Please tell me that. Voting isn't about owning the other party. If you want to make change in your own party because you don't feel like they're doing enough, put people in those positions in your party that are about change. But running to the other side to make a point is pointless. The only point that you proved is you're crazy enough to let somebody drive you right off the road. Let me give you an example. If you know somebody is an alcoholic, would you let them drive behind the wheel of the car, or would you let them, even a perceived less experienced driver, drive that's fully sober? Who you gonna let drive the car? It shouldn't even be that close. And with that, neither should this election have been. Hey, y'all, I'm out, but catch us uh, every Thursday on Head to Head with Brian Parker. 7 o'clock, we do it live, but we also love it if you would sit there, subscribe. That way, anytime we go live, you'll know about it. Anytime the show goes live, you'll know about it. But we ask you to reach out and listen. If you would love to be on the panel, I'm having an open show tomorrow. If you want to get more information, send me a DM and I will let you know. I will send you a link so that you can be on the panel, because I feel like a lot of people are going to want to talk about this election. The show normally goes from 7 to 8:30. I'm so sorry. It normally goes from 7 to 8:30. But if we have to run a little bit over so that people can work their feelings out, I'll be there for you tomorrow. So let me know. If y'all want to leave any comments, I'll read those and respond a little later. Y'all take care.